First, we create a working directory and get input. And we'll open an editor. I use Emacs. There it is. And we'll create, we'll grab the existing test.st. There it is. Right, so we've now made a copy. We've now made a copy of the test file that we're going to create a transmogrifier for. We can have a quick browse of what's in here. So it's mostly like Python. I've used $signs and @ in some places to remind myself these are things that I want to compile. I've used these Unicode dot things to display, to mark architectural comments. So if I go into ST mode, I should be able to, yes, turn off all the comments, and there's the code that I really want to compile. There's the expanded code. I'm going to write a grammar that gets rid of these things and pays only attention to the bits of code that are interesting, from there to there. And this stuff, and it'll obviously be worried about whether the braces match correctly. The next step is to open a browser and open a browse. The next step is to open a browser on the own editor. And I'm going to get rid of all the existing examples and get rid of the default grammar. And I'm going to take a copy of this test file and put it into one of the examples. And then I'm going to start the grammar. You have to give the grammar a name, and you have to enclose the whole grammar in braces. This stuff over here is showing the parse tree, but it's a leftover of the previous default grammar. So what's the first thing? The first thing I'm going to notice, I'm going to try to do is, I'll call them the first rule main for some reason. I'll call it capital letter main. Using capital letters in ohm means do default space skipping. And so the first thing that I need to find is the literal def proc, followed by an ID, followed by open parenthesis, a bunch of IDs, 0 or more IDs, followed by a close parenthesis, followed by a open squiggly, followed by contents, followed by that. So an ID and content. So I need to fill in the bits and pieces that are missing so far in this grammar. I'm starting pretty stupid. This part is going to get filled in a lot more in a minute, but I'm just using it as I'm going to stub it out in a moment. So an ID is a first letter followed by follow letters. Zero or more follow letters. A first letter, to spell it right, is either a letter or a dash or an underscore. Whoops. And a follow letter. I didn't want to put that S in there. A follow letter is an alphanumeric or a dash or an underscore. And now it's complaining that the rule contents isn't there. So I'm just going to say contents is anything that is not a closed brace. Why is this not? Contents. Star. How's that? Yeah, so one or more content characters. I'll make it lowercase there, and then I'll put the number sign in front of it to say, remember it's, don't skip spaces when processing this. I'm going to need that later. I don't need it right now. And what's wrong down here? Expected end of input. So I'm looking down here, and it's complaining that the dollar signs are getting in, and the @ signs aren't. And I don't want dollar signs and @ signs to be part of. So I'll make content be a dollar sign followed by content. Or an @ sign followed by more content. Or anything that isn't a close brace. What is that? No, still it didn't work. Well, we can. So right now I'm trying to figure out why this is failing a parse right here. It says it's expecting end of input. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to make another example with that in it. It's going to fail in the same place, and I'm going to start deleting stuff out of it. So let me delete all these lines, see if it changes anything. It didn't, as expected. Change those lines. That probably doesn't change anything. See, does this look right? So that brace matches with that brace. That brace matches with that brace. That brace matches with that brace. And that brace matches with that brace. So the braces look okay. Something else is confusing the parser. Oh, not a squiggly any. Oh, I haven't written a recursive rule. So, if we see a squiggly, then we'll need to see more content, followed by a closed squiggly. And we'll call it a recursive rule. start deleting things, seeing if stuff goes willy. Get rid of that. So I really should, I'm going to start fleshing out the parser. So I'll put in withContainer and withCause. So here is $withContainer on arg, followed by that. That's going to be withContainer. And then we need to do the same with withCause, arg, you don't need to know what withContainer and withCause do. At this point, these are things that I'm inventing to help me describe the PBP kernel better. So it's complaining that I don't have arg defined. So let's go down and define arg. The arg rule. I've used the capital to allow space skipping. So there needs to be an arg has to be open paren, one ID, and a closed paren. Now what's wrong? I'm trying to read this. withContainer arg, blah, blah, blah. withCause cannot apply, apply syntactic rule. Okay, so I'll do this here. Apply, so this is a lowercase rule here, and you can't use uppercase rules inside lowercase rules. Lowercase rule is just standard peg. Uppercase rules are standard peg with space skipping and apply. So we then Ohm calls them lowercase rules are called lexical rules. Uppercase rules are called syntactic rules. So we say apply syntactic. Yeah, what's wrong? This is anytime you use any, you have to be careful to get to reject the appropriate things that might be slurped up by any's. It shouldn't slurp up any of those, or any dollars, not any dollars, not any hats. What else am I forgetting here? Content. Show the spaces. Let's look to see what the parse tree is showing. So it's showing the slurped up content, but didn't find a closed squiggly. That's what this is saying. There isn't a closed squiggly here. This is inside a withContainer, so let's look at that. Spaces, right. I'm forgetting spaces here because I can probably do this better with content star now it doesn't like the while inside the withContainer. Oh, withCause, it's got the withCause, it gets that, but this while, oh, it's because I haven't put a I haven't done a while. That's the problem. So let's try that. And a while can be basically any stuff up to a not open brace any plus open brace. No. Open brace so now we get a green over here, and so now it's happy with that. We can just double check the parse to see that it makes sense. Here we want to expand that. So it says all these spaces here are, then it finds a withContainer thing. And then it found the arg thing. There, found more spaces. Found the deliver atomically, blah, blah, blah. Now we're going to want to, oh, it didn't add content. Yeah. An at should be followed by an ID. By only an ID. Now let's look at that. Go right to the end here. Now we should be looking at this at top container. Yeah, it's an at. An at is an at with an ID following it, and that it found. And then it decided the rest of the stuff is just whatever. It's content. And when it hit the close brace, it popped out and did some more of that stuff. I'm looking at this to see if I can make these extra spaces things go away. maybe if I said it a different way. If I said that capital content is this, that's got to be no, it's not content anyway. Actually, I was just using that as a filler. So now I should be getting rid of the, making this tighter. So content can be these with things, or it can be other code. So withContainer now doesn't need spaces and doesn't need to apply syntactic anymore because I'm making it a capital letter thing. So I can reduce the grammar pretty heavily. Removing redundant stuff from the grammar. These spaces, Om is supposed to help me remove spaces, so we'll try to do that. Yeah. Content star. Now, is it making sense? Let's look at, I don't know, this. Let's look at this last line here. So we'll go right to the end and then scroll back a few braces. Let's see if we stop showing spaces. Yeah, it compacts the tree a bit. So it said that that's an at top container. The stepchildren, so should just be a bunch of characters. Step ready children, there it is. Yeah, okay, step ready children. And then the while, it picked off that stuff, any child ready. So while any child ready, blah, 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 all the way up to this brace, it just skipped over, called that a while. That looks good. Whenever you use any, you have to double check to see that it hasn't slurped up stuff that you didn't want it to slurp up. In a typical compiler, you end up not doing this very much. I'm doing this because it allows me to write grammars that are a lot shorter than full-blown compiler grammars. And this trick is kind of like using regexes, except it's doing recursive parsing instead of line-oriented regexing. This business here lets me skip over stuff that I don't want to write parse or grammar rules for. So I wrote the grammar rules for the stuff that I think is important. So I want to convert this kind of thing. I want to convert this kind of thing. I want to convert this kind of thing, this kind of thing, and then the recursive stuff. Well, that's what you can't do simply in regex, is to go recursive. And here I'm basically saying I'm going to be pattern match you on any depth of brace bracketed chunks of code recursively, but I have to write rules that say every time you see one of the brace brackets, you have to pop out and go back around for more, which is what's happening. So, okay, let's say that's the grammar. So we'll just grab this grammar, go back to the editor, go back to an edit of the sti.home and put the grammar in here. Then we're going to want to write a rewriter for it. So we'll say sti.rewrite, and it's going to be the same thing as starts off the same as the grammar with %rewrite in front of it. And then we need to modify each one of these rules to be rewrite rules. So the rewrite rules take parameters that match these parameters. So the main rule is going to have 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parameters passed into it. So let's just call that underscore refproc. Call the next one ID. I'll call it LP for left par. I'm giving that the name LP. And then IDs star. I have to use a different, these are JavaScript-ish names, so I have to make sure they're unique within the same parameter list. I'll say right parenthesis, left brace, content star, and right brace. And then the rewrite rule is enclosed in these ticks, Unicode ticks, and we use these special Unicode brackets. So there's one thing, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. And right now I'm just going to do a identity transform. So I'll output exactly what was input. I don't have to put the stars in. They're on this side. I need to put the stars in on this side here. So I'll continue here. RP, LB, content, RB. Same with the ID rule. Whoops. Is going to need first, and I'll follow star. And first letter is just going to be a letter. The stuff that I just wiped out to the right, this stuff, are rules that tell the grammar parser what to do, but the result of the parse is either going to be one letter, one dash, or one underscore. It's always one letter that I'm going to call C, and I'm just going to put it back in. Same here. C. And then I need a capital content rule for each one of these possibilities. So there's content underscore with container, and it takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items. So underscore with thing, an arg, an L brace, a content star, and a right brace. And it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, bang. And it's going to be the underscore with thing, the arg thing, left brace, content, right brace. And the reason I didn't spell it out in full here is that it also applies for this thing. So the withCause is the same. So now we're going to do content while, and it takes an underscore while, and whoa, I've put a, okay, one of the things, the rewrite rule, oh no, that's okay. So it's going to be a bunch of characters, so I'll say character S for plural, C's plus, so it's this, that C's plus is this parameter. Then it's going to have a left brace, content, star, right brace. And what's going to happen here is going to be the underscore thingy followed by the C's, whoops, followed by left brace, followed by content, followed by right brace. So we knocked that one off. So now the content at is going to be an at followed by an ID. Again, I'm using arbitrary names here. I'm hoping to keep this understandable. So the recursive part is going to be left brace, content star, right brace equals 1, 2, 3 things. LB okay, so I want to give this the name other just to keep it sane. You can check the home rules for why this worked and didn't complain. And that's going to be just a character. It's going to match just a character. So we knocked that stuff off. Now we need to do arg. And arg is a left parenthesis an ID and a right parenthesis, and it equals 3. Left paren ID, right paren. And I don't like blank lines too much. Okay, so now we should have, right, I forgot to save something. There we go. Save it all. Do the ls. So we have 3 things. We have the ohm file, we have the RWR file, we have the test file, and this squiggly thing is a backup file from Emacs. This thing up here is a temp file created by Emacs when I haven't saved the file correctly, which then I did. Okay, so now one of the other things we need to do is we need to clone the tools. I need to remember how to do that. I never remember how to do that. README. Yeah, there it is. Git clone that. So we go into here, git clone there. And then we do /qp/add setup tools.show. And that'll does a one-time package addition initialization of stuff for NPM. It also got rid of a bunch of the maintenance stuff that came in with this clone. So now I should have Yeah. Okay, so I've got a PVP directory. It's created an XML file. If I'm going to do diagrams, it's left my files alone that I had. It's added a main.py, some package stuff, and then these custom definitions, custom make and custom test, and the generic make. So we need to go to the definitions file, go down to last line, and we're going to customize this line. We're going to call the thing we're building is custom stpy, and then we need to go to the custom make C. And in this case, I'm going to use this use case 3 where I'm only doing text to text. Use case 1 is the default where we're doing diagrams. And in this simplistic example, I'm not doing that. Comment region, so I comment that out. I'm going to comment in this part, comment, and use case tool 2. Use case tool is to build a drawware tool that is like a compiler, and it leaves the compiler part alone. Leaves the compiler part in for use. Otherwise, this thing actually does the compilation or transpilation. And here we're gonna modify that line of code to be test. Whoops. Thank you, Emacs. I'm used to it. We're gonna test.st there, and then I should be able to. We don't really need this browser much anymore, so I'll put it away. And here I think we need to do that. Make. We need to create a support.mjs, and in this case, empty is good enough. That's all we really need in this simple case. Right, okay, so it's now done a complete rebuild of the whole thing. It's done a identity pass over the whole thing, and it's deleted all the spaces because I asked it to. To go to Python for this, no, I want to go to the stpy.onwr. So here, instead of that, I want to say def id I need the those two characters. Let's put them in here for the moment. I'm going to need it here. And I'm going to need it there. Okay, we just made, so these things are in indents and outdent because Python has this horrible syntax that makes it more difficult to generate code for because of this indentation stuff. This should be just raw Python here, so let's see what happened. Right, I left this stuff in. And I wanted to make the I want to run it through /tbp/indent. I think that's right. Right, there we go. So it's still doing this stuff. I didn't make any changes to that stuff. But it got this line of code looking like Python now. Now we'll go back and continue on with the Python-y stuff. So, we don't want the left braces and the right braces here. We can test incrementally if we got that, and that happened fine. Let's see, the recursive one shouldn't be doing, it should be doing this stuff. No, yeah, okay, so these withContainer stuff. So let's do the while, which translates into normal Python. So I think it's just while this stuff, colon, and we need the indent and Newline. We don't need the braces. I really need the outdent and Newline here. Normally I do that in the other direction. So let's see what happens here. While any child ready. I probably wanted a Newline here. So it's starting to take shape. This is starting to look like Python. We can take care of the ats very easily. Where's the at there? So we don't put an at in front of it. We put a... No, we want... Right, and getting rid of spaces is now slowly becoming a problem. So we're going to have to modify the grammar some more. withContainer. So withContainer, the first thing it's going to do, it's going to I can't remember if that's correct Python or correct JavaScript, but let's say it's reasonable. So what I've done here is I am converting the withContainer stuff to bracket a push and a pop around all of the content that was provided. And I forgot a Newline here. And I think I want a Newline here. Let's see what happened. There's containers push. The other thing that's getting in the way is all these architectural comments. Let's modify the grammar for that. It's the pi.own. So if we see what's going on here, there we go. For some reason, I turned on read only somehow. If we see a line that starts with one of these things, there, I'll steal it from there. Followed by stuff, and I've put the number sign in front of it, so don't worry about, don't do space skipping. Followed by a new line, then it's an architectural arc comment, and an arc comment, so I made that lowercase. An arc comment, no, I want it to be stuff. Stuff, star. A stuff is not a new line any, and a new line is equal to one of those. Does that pass? Apparently it did. I haven't added these to the RWR content arc comment. So I need to put that in content arc. So it goes into an arc comment. One, so those things plus stuff, star, and L, and I don't want anything. I don't want it to turn, I want to wipe it right out, so I've just, I've replaced it, rewritten it by nothing. And I need to say what a stuff is, spell it correctly. And that's a character. And we can have nothing there. And then new line, let's leave it as a character for now. Quote. Let's see, was that a typo? I forgot to put in that, so it and it didn't work the way I had hoped. Why not? Oh, I forgot to put that there. Let's see if that helped. Apparently it worked. So I got rid of all these painful to look at architectural comments, and I've reduced the current test to this. I now noticed this thing. So one of my, I've mistyped one of the variables, and this comma here is inserted whenever I have a plus or a star or a question mark in the grammar that I haven't correctly matched into the rewrite rules. One of the places that spaces is Ohm creates a rule called spaces for you, and if you don't rewrite it correctly, like this, so if you don't produce a rule for it, it gives you the default action. So now I think I've got rid of that comma. Oh, there's another undefined here and an undefined here. Let's see, what did I get wrong? Let's get rid of that one. This business with the comma stuff might be related to what I've done wrong here. So the first one of these, deliver atomically, for some reason. Where have I got the typo? I forgot to save, which I often do. That's not helping me. So the usual action is to go back to the editor. The home editor was there. I haven't learned how to use this correctly. Let's put that back in. That's parsing okay. And the place that we're getting this error is in deliver atomically. So let's go here, deliver atomically, blah, blah, blah. Let's clone this, turn it into another example, and then reduce the example to bare minimum. And reduce the noise here. It just makes stuff easier to read when I'm debugging. Okay, so it's giving me undefineds for these things. As I'm doing this, I'm realizing it was my rule for the at thing is probably wrong. The rewrite here for that ID, that should say ID. So we're going to try. You got that right. So what am I seeing here? I'm seeing that withCause did not get expanded. That's probably because an any has eaten it up. And whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Any's, I've done any here, and I've gotten any here. What I said earlier is that I gotta be careful to put all of those in. Should the Newline have gone up here? Probably. Well, stuff rejects that, so that might be okay now. Let's see what happens. Again, I don't mind using the machine to help me test and find my problems. We've spent 50 years putting type checking into languages, and this is working. This is helping me find my errors also. and I haven't needed to spend 50 years developing it. But I do have to use my brain. Containers.push, deliver atomically. The top container stuff got expanded correctly. Top container got expanded correctly. Why did a new line get inserted here? Actually, for now, we could P and S. What if we just take this and put it into our test? Test.st. So we want to copy CP test.st into whole test.st. And we'll do that. And we'll run the make. What's going on? Something didn't get saved. Yeah, that didn't get saved. And we see the new line is being stuffed in here for some reason. And we're getting, well, what's going on? So at T got correctly put in. Did I put a new line in after the, yes, I did. So okay. Well, there's no point putting a new line in there. Yay. Okay, so I got rid of the new line stuff. And then the D, that's probably correct. Yes. And we got rid of that brace and that brace. That's okay. So I'm happy with that. So now we can put back whole .st and try it. And what are we getting? Containers.push. withCause did not get expanded while, and containers.pop got expanded correctly. The while is still, no, the withCause is still leaving. Is that right? Yes, the withCause, well, we haven't expanded withCauses. So that should be causes.push Arg. Get that. Put a new line in here. New line causes.pop. New line. Well, what happens when we do? I saved it. Yes. What happened? Causes.push. These should have had new lines. That looks like legal Python, other than this piece of noise here. We can get rid of that noise by, I think it's in the make itself. Yeah, there it is. There. And now if we run the make and redirect it into junk.py, cat junk.py, there it is, this Python, like, no, it doesn't, because I've left these dashes in here. There's many ways to fix that. stpy.home, and here I want stpy. So an ID, there's the O, the first letter. Okay, so what I wanted to say is an underline. And we'll go down here and underline, use one of these. Dash or an underline. I think I gotta put spaces in there, and I'll do this here. And then first letter, follow letter. Yes, that's okay. I need a rule for underline underscore dash. It gets a character in, and I want to give it a underscore out. And a UL. And we'll just do that. We can just put raw characters in here instead of interpolating characters like I did here. This is slightly more efficient. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Don't want to do that. Then I want to cat it. And it didn't expand it correctly here, but it did expand it correctly there. Why? Oh, because I did an ID here. So I want to say, if we see an ID, parse out the ID, so we need a content. That came before rec. I don't have to put it in this order, but I will, just to keep everyone's sanity. Did I save it? No. Now I saved it. Oh, I got an error. Oh, I mistyped. Up here, ID, no, here. Content ID, put in the correct kind of bracket in there. It got that one right, it got that one right. It didn't get this one right, and it didn't get this one right. Why is that? So while. Something to do with while. So which one are we going to go after first? So we can go after that one, or we can go after that one. The while, that should be... That's not really an any. It's a while any. I'm going to do these one at a time just to keep sanity. So I said while any. WA. And I need to put it after stuff. While any. While any. other. What was that? Nullable expression while any is not allowed inside plus. These are one of the rules of PEG parsers, that you can't put star or a plus star question mark inside another plus star question mark. And it claims I'm doing that. A while any. And the reason it thinks I did that is that I put a pattern matching rule in here, but I didn't say what to. A negative match here, but I didn't say what positive thing to match. Let's see if that worked. I saved it. And so it got that one right. Did it get all of them right? It looks like it did. So can we Python the jump? What can I? No, it didn't do this one right. While, oh right, okay, so yeah, I haven't finished the while stuff. Content. I thought content takes care of that. So this should recursively go in here, and it should take out the ats. Which it does. Need to think about this. What's going on here? Content star. Content comes in here. It should see an at. So can I? Yeah, so let's go to test.st and modify it to be only with stuff that's not working so good. /@ loop. And yeah, so I've got a case. I'm going to reduce this further because I don't want to read all this extra stuff. While a and t. I don't think I actually care about that. And I don't need any of the spaces per se. But I'm going to put some spaces in. Two spaces, indent originally. There, how's that? That looks pretty readable. Well, let's see, we should still get the wrong thing going on here. Yes, there's the wrong thing. Now we can jam this into the ohm test case. Well, I'll just put it here. A brand new one completely. Now that it's parsing that, we can try to see what's going on here. While why is there an any in here? I forgot to change something somewhere. Let's see, while. I forgot to put this grammar back in here. Which one is failing? It's the inside the while any is failing for some reason. While any. At T, it says that's an any. That's not what we want. And I've broken my usual rule here. I can't have any of these things in here. What can happen inside a while clause? It can be any stuff or an at ID. And is that? Yeah, that's okay. So we'll, this is jury. This may need to be fixed better, but for now we don't really care. And here it can't be one of those. It can't be one of those. Can't be one of those. Can't be an ML. And we need to go to while any at how about that? Got it. Okay, so now we can go back to the original test. I don't see anything with my eyes here. Into chunk.py. Yeah, junk.py. Whoops. Python chunk.py. And it passes Python. Okay, so it's happy with that. And just for laughs, we could change this to be JSON. So let's say copy stpy.home to stjs.home, copy stpy.rwr to stjs.rwr, and that'll stay the same. Right, so we keep the grammar the same. There's ways to not have to copy it the way I'm doing it here. And that really is up to your bash chops to do that. And examining the script files that I provide in the PVP directory. Not a big deal. But let's just proceed with we'll just make a flat out copy of the grammar and a flat out copy of the stpy. We're going to be writing stjs, and we need to change the add def to be stjs. There. And then what would we say in I think function dot lpids? It's going to need commas. I'm not going to deal with that right now. I'll do the indentation stuff anyway because my eyeballs like to see indentation. Oh, I didn't finish the Python version. I didn't put in the boilerplate for defining containers and so on. So why don't I switch to that first? So we'll go back to stpy clone stpy.rlr, and then boilerplate is going to end up here. So we're going to say containers is a nothing, causes, and that, and then pushing and popping. I don't remember now which language I'm using anymore. Oh, I have to make the def file. There we go. Containers is nothing, causes is nothing. I may have to define pushes and pops correctly. I don't remember if whether I need to do this in Python or whether I need to do it in JavaScript. I'll let you figure out what needs to be done here correctly. In JavaScript, I know we need to say commas, or I can put commas there. And I can, semicolons, sorry. There and there. And in JavaScript, it's not that, it's that. Why? There. I don't see anything else that needs to actually be changed. We'll go back to this, go to the JavaScript version, and then just do make, and now it still says def. Why def? Up here, here, function. And instead of that, it should do that, and that. And there we go. This looks like JavaScript mostly to me. There's probably more boilerplate needed here to define a function for pushing and popping. I can't remember if that's in JavaScript or in Python that I need to do. The boilerplate, I won't worry about it much for now. Into junk.trailS, and then with recently mode, junk.trailS, it passes. So the full-blown version with the proper boilerplate is in the other in the Git hub for the ST directory. And I'll give that to you later.